This is one of those cars, one of the big jobs. For any JDM enthusiasts out there, you know what the four legends are. The Mark IV Supra, the R34 Skyline, the FD RX-7, and the Honda NSX, or Acura. Pick your poison. This is a 1997 NSX-T, and that's also my birth year. If you've been following the channel for a while, you already know that I started Dragon Auto because of my love for Japanese JDM import tuner culture, so this hits different. Plus, it's one of the most tastefully, cleanly modified NSXs we've had in the shop. From his custom hood that his friend took 8 years to make at a body shop, to the detailed carbon fiber accents, this is truly one of the most beautiful cars that has come through the shop. Our job, to preserve this legend. We're gonna be undoing the clock and unwinding 28 years, 80,000 miles of wear and tear on the paint, restoring that luster and shine, and preserving and sealing it in for the foreseeable future. Plus, those carbon fiber accents, we're gonna prevent them from ever getting any UV damage from the sun, so no yellowing and no peeling. This isn't gonna be one of the videos where we dive deep into the technical and educational process about how we're gonna do our prep work, because we already have videos on the channel that explain that. This one is just gonna be highlighting our process for how we restored and protected this iconic, legendary Japanese supercar.
Let's get to it.
This is a clay bar. We use this to remove all the crud that gets stuck into your paint, kind of like exfoliating blackheads from the pores of your skin. While this part of the process is simple in appearance, this is an insanely important step, because if we do this sloppily and leave things behind, Rocklear will seal that crud underneath it. So we take our time and go over areas multiple times to triple check that we are A-okay to move on. If this is your first time seeing us Rocklear a car, you might think that this is a paint correction, but what we're actually doing with the polisher is prepping the paint with Icon Rocklear's special compound called RIP. We have to do this to every section of paint, so if our polisher doesn't reach inside a crevice, we have to do that section by hand. If we skip this part of the process, Rocklear will be rejected off the surface and not bond properly, so it's also extremely important that we do this right for a clean install. After the compounding stage is complete, we need to remove the invisible oily residue that's left behind on the surface. So we take some isopropyl alcohol, microfiber towels, and do a final pass on the whole car to ensure that the surface is squeaky clean. Next, we can begin the masking tape stage. Rocklear is a chemical mixture designed for painted surfaces, so we want to mask off things like plastics and trim to avoid a huge mess we would need to clean up later. Now after all that prep, it's time for the best part. When first laying down the Rocklear, you'll notice that it has lines immediately after touching the surface. Think of it kind of like pancake batter. As it has more time to sit on the surface, it levels itself out. See us use that air blower, we're assisting this self-leveling process so we can immediately tell if a panel looks clean without having to wait. Then we can make a decision if we need to remove it and redo it, if there's any imperfections, or it looks clean and we can move on. One of the things I really love about Rocklear is that expensive carbon fiber pieces like his lip will not yellow or fade from sun damage. Sometimes aftermarket carbon fiber accessories can cost well into the thousands, and it's always disappointing to see the sun ruin it into an ugly yellow color or cause it to peel. Now that's never going to be a problem for him. Thursday night here at the shop, we had a plan to return the NSX on Saturday. And with the 3 layers, we're going to be putting layer number 2 on tonight. Jen is already putting the masking tape on there. One of the extra things that we can do for our multi-layer installs is we can just tape off the adjacent panels. So she can tape off the door there because we're only going to be putting the multiple layers on the fender forward. So that is going to make it a lot easier. We don't have to touch the door back there. All we got to do is compound to prep the surface, alcohol wipe it, and then put that next layer straight on. So we're going to do that real fast tonight on Thursday. So that way we can get the second layer curing overnight. And then Friday night, we're going to come back, put that 3rd layer on, and then return it to the owner on Saturday. The hardened first layer of Rocklear will reject the second layer unless we repolish the surface again. After doing that, we just repeat the alcohol wipe down to remove those invisible polish oils, and we're ready to go with layer 2. Another trick we always do before laying down Rocklear is we use this slightly sticky cloth called a tack cloth to pick up any lint or debris that might have fallen onto the surface. This helps stop contaminants from getting into the Rocklear solution. Jackson also had a special request for us. These wheels are his Volk Racing TE37s. He also dropped these off with the vehicle for us to ceramic coat them as well. If you don't know about these wheels, in the Japanese car scene, this is basically like having a Prada handbag. A set can easily run almost $4,000 without tires. A Japanese company called Rays has been making these since 1996 for motorsport use, so the appeal is the genuine Japanese racing heritage behind them. He was also having some trouble trying to apply the Volk Racing decals onto the wheel. The curve caused it to bubble up a little bit, so at first I wanted to see if a little bit of heat from our heat gun could help it stick down evenly.
So unfortunately, even with heat, it looks like we can't actually fix the part that's popping up right there. Looks like there's too much stress on the sticker. So he did buy brand new Rays stickers. A 4-pack of these are like 80 bucks. That's gonna be $20 a sticker. If you want the legit sign of authenticity, this is the way to go. So he just left these for us in the car. If you weren't able to press them down and fix them, he said it's okay for you to just take them off, put the new ones on, and then ceramic coat the wheels.
You just saw us take the tape off the NSX. One of the very last things we gotta do is apply our ceramic coating to the glass. We already did the wheels earlier, so you guys saw me do it on the TE37s as well. These are his temp set. Jen's gonna be putting it on the glass and trim. All the rubber plastic trims we can't put Rocklear on, including the windshield wiper area, the headlights, the Honda badge, fog lights. Those are all plastics that we consider. The rubber right here, we're gonna be ceramic coating that as well. We're starting out systematically, step by step. Nothing super crazy for the ceramic coating process. It's very standard, very simple, and we also use an incredibly easy to use ceramic coating that still provides extremely good results. The Underdog coating has been a coating that I've used in the last 4 or 5 years at this point, and it has always been extremely solid. It actually incorporates PTFE, or Teflon, inside of its formulation. So instead of just being straight raw ceramic, it incorporates some Teflon in there, and it actually helps drastically increase the chemical resistance and the durability. You can neglect the coating far more. Not everyone's gonna maintain a ceramic coating perfectly, and so that will help ensure that it stays doing its job on the car without getting clogged for longer. We don't wanna keep the hood closed and then miss some of those spots. And then after enough time has elapsed, we are going to use the towel that is lightly misted. So we want a slightly moist towel, and then we're going to wipe off the coating residue on the surface. The damp towel trick is a method that we picked up over the years, which does not interfere with the coating's bonding process, but does make removal significantly easier, because when the coating is flashed, that is basically like air dried, and it is ready for removal, it is very sticky like syrup. And in order to cut through that sticky syrup residue, you can slightly dampen up your towel. Instead of having a completely bone dry towel, you just have a little bit of water residue on there, and it is going to help make sure that the coating is wiped off far, far easier with less effort. We do some prep work. We do compound and polish the windshield to make sure that like mineral stains, water buildup, road film, all those types of things on the surface, we want it to be clean, so that way when the coating goes on there, it's bonding to the glass and not to a bunch of buildup, because that buildup is going to interfere with the bond, and it's going to make it so the coating doesn't last as long. So one of the necessary prep steps is that we do compound and polish it. So when we're doing the compound on the paint, we also compound the glass. So just because we are not applying Rocklear to the glass doesn't mean that we have to skip out on prep and we just put the ceramic coating on. It still needs that compounding step on all the glass surfaces to make sure that it is all good. Now, when it rains, the water is going to beat up, and if he's driving fast enough, like freeway speeds, it's going to roll off the windshield from the air pressure. So it makes visibility significantly easier, and then dirt is not going to stick to the windshield as easy. So you're not going to have to run the wiper blades all the time to try and clean off your windshield, or use a gas station squeegee to try and clean off the windshield, because the dirt is going to build up and accumulate on here much slower. And then the last thing that she's going to have to do is actually go into the plastics in here and get it inside of here. So we might actually change out the applicator that we're using to make sure that we get full coverage on these vents here. Okay, so because of the size, we needed to get a special foam tip applicator so we could squeeze them in there properly. And then Jen's just gonna go ahead and apply it fin by fin. All done. Now we got the coating on the fins of this area as well.
The coating right now is in the process of curing, so it still is relatively soft.
How long before it's fully cured?
After the 30 days.
What is this coating called again?
Icon Rocklear.
Icon
Rocklear.
Rocklear.
We helped our client Jackson protect his beautiful NSX by applying not just a single layer of Rocklear on the front end, but 3 layers of Icon Rocklear, which increased the thickness so that way he had a thicker barrier to preserve the front from any debris or rock chips hitting it. And then the rest of the vehicle got 1 layer to give him all the rest of the benefits that a single layer provides. And the benefits I just mentioned? It's a level of gloss that we just haven't been able to get with anything else on the market. Plus, no more waxing, and wash days are effortless. Got a passion project of your own? Click the link in the description, answer a couple questions, and we'll help build a custom protection plan just for you. Let's Once again, my name is Noah, founder and co-owner of Dragon Auto. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.